Okay, welcome back to another speaker's tip. Today I want to talk about inspiration in your speaking as it relates to quotes that you hear. A lot of things that many speakers do is that they'll put several quotes in a speech. And from my standpoint, that causes a discounting of your authenticity because you're using so many other sources and so many other inspirational quotes rather than those quotes coming from you. But that doesn't mean that you can't take the meaning of that quote and work it into your speech. There's nothing that prevents you from taking the concept that is presented in a quote that inspires you as an individual and then putting that in your own words. And there have been a number of people I've coached in the speech competitions that they've had a quote they loved. And we said, well, how can you figure out how to say that your own way? Or is there a story that represents that in some way in your life? Now, the reason I'm talking about this, I just came across a quote from Mark Twain that I thought was brilliant. And the quote was, all you need is ignorance and confidence, and success is sure. So with ignorance and confidence, what else do you need? Now, the thing is, I don't want to use that quote, even though it's a great quote. And because Mark Twain said it, and then if anybody knows that quote and I use it and don't give Mark Twain credit for it, then I look like a fraud, and I'm being a fraud. The other thing is if I start to put Mark Twain in my speech, I start to lose the connection of my authenticity. But you can take that concept and put it in your speech and just say, say something like, I realized I had the two components for sure success. I had ignorance and confidence. It's a funny quote. It makes a lot of sense. It's not Mark Twain's quote. It is the concept that Mark Twain was getting across. Another quote that actually had a lot of impact on my life several years ago, and it's something that I do believe and live by at this point, is that there's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that said that injustice anywhere was a threat to justice everywhere. And that is a specific quote, but you can say, I realize that if I allowed this to occur here, that someone else, if I allowed this injustice to occur in my backyard, that person was going to go perpetrate that on somebody else. And I had to make sure that I did not allow injustices in my area. Otherwise, everybody would be exposed to injustices. You can take that same concept and put it in your own words. And a lot of these quotes can give us great insight and meaning and depth to our speeches. Just tell a story or rephrase it so it's in your own personal words, and then you don't have to worry about a lot of other quotes, and you keep your speech authentic. And it can also give us a lot of personal inspiration for speech topics and subjects that we want to communicate. There's your tip. See you soon.